And Jesus answered, "Follow me. Just be concerned that you follow me." Last week I was pretty lucky. I was out at the University of Notre Dame in Indiana for a 3-day conference. 3 days of looking at the importance of preaching. It was a conference for people that teach homiletics in various degrees throughout the United States, and it's always a great 3 days. The second evening, Tuesday, I had checked into the parish to check my messages, and there were a few messages that I really needed to handle on Tuesday night, and so I decided that, seeing that the big dinner was Tuesday night, the dinner began at 6. There were going to be speeches at the end of the dinner. I had a meeting at 8:30. I decided that I would sneak out of the dinner. I would sneak out during the speeches and make some phone calls, and then sneak back in at 8:30 for the meeting that I needed to attend. And so I did just that. I went to the dinner. I had a quick bite to eat. I spied a door over to the side, and I snuck out the door. I went back to the dorm in which all of us were staying. There were about 250 people making the conference. When I was there in the dorm, something happened that I didn't expect. An alarm went off. An alarm went off and was ringing. And along with the alarm, a voice said, "Joliet County in South Bend has just been issued a tornado warning. Please step away from the windows." I did. "Please proceed immediately downstairs to the basement of whatever building you're in." I didn't know what to do. I stood there, and I was alone in the dorm. I stood there and I said, what do I do? Do I believe this? Do I believe this? What if it's probably nothing? It is kind of dark all of a sudden, but it's probably nothing. I stood there and I remember wondering, do I believe it? Do I believe it? I hemmed and I hawed. Do I believe? Do I not believe? I got to get back over to that dinner so they don't know I snuck out. What do I do? Do I believe? Do I not believe? Well, I decided to believe. I left the dorm room. There were 2 people going down the stairs who were staying up on the top floor, 2 Notre Dame students taking summer courses. And I said, "What do you do in a case like this?" "Well, we're going to go to the basement." On the way to the basement, the alarm went back on. The tornado warning was taken away. I went back to the dinner. They never knew I snuck away. But I stood there. Do I believe? Do I not believe? That first reading from the Old Testament, Abraham believed. He believed. Did you hear the dialogue he had with God? He believed in the power and the presence of his God so much that he spoke to God like you would speak to your best friend. God has a plan. He's going to get rid of Sodom and Gomorrah. And Abraham tries his best to talk him out of it. What if I find 50? Okay, I'll spare 50. Well, what if I only find 40? What if I only find 30? Lord, I know that I'm pressing you on this, but what if I only... An amazing dialogue between 2 people in a relationship. When you're in a relationship with someone, you can go at them as you really are. And that's what Abraham did. He believed. What a relationship he had with his God that he was able to continue to try to dissuade him from destroying the city. He knew that God was with him. He knew that God listened. My friends, we call that prayer. And we are called to believe, not to debate back and forth, do I believe, do I not believe? We're called to believe that God listens. We know that God listens because of his Son. You know, the gospel is a very challenging one. It seems that Jesus, that first line, foxes have dens, birds of the sky have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. Why was Jesus saying that at the precise moment that he was calling people forward? Someone answers him and says, well, Lord, can I do my Father's funeral first? And Jesus says, follow me. Let the dead bury their dead. That seems kind of harsh, don't you think? Really? Yeah. What's Jesus really saying? Well, isn't it conventional to have a place to lay your head? It's part of the natural order of things. Isn't it conventional to bury the dead? That's part of the natural order of things. What Jesus is really saying has little to do with funerals or pillows in which to rest your head. What he's saying is, anyone that follows me has to be somewhat unconventional. Anyone who follows me has to believe and know in their hearts of hearts that when you pray, my Father listens. When you pray through me, my Father listens. I listen, I respond, and we will send you the Spirit. My friends, this day we are reminded that just as Abraham had a wonderful relationship with his God, we can have even a better one because of Jesus. When we allow the relationship that we have with God in Christ to be the first thing we think of when life issues a challenge to us, we find ourselves winners. We find ourselves being unlike other people who doubt, who don't believe. We find ourselves with an inner strength that we can use every day to help Him, help us make this world a better place.